Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live Recruiting Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Today is Thursday, March the 13th, 2025. For you, it is Wednesday evening, March the 12th, 2025 for us. Keep that in mind moving forward with any today's, tomorrow's, or yesterday's. We are prone to mistaking. We are prone to mistakes. We've done it before. We probably do it again, but not tonight. And I just did. Not tonight. Yeah, my bad. Oh, all right. Look, we're going to talk some recruiting tonight, today, and yesterday, and maybe tomorrow. We're going to talk some recruiting. We're going to answer some questions from the corner. We're going to dish out some how about yous, and here to do it with me, as they always are when they are here. We're here 100% of the time. Mr. Cole Pinkston, Mr. Allen Head. How about you, fellas?
How about you? How we doing?
How about you?
Fairly well. I'm glad to be back to sea level.
Okay.
I'm glad to be back to sea level. And I do not like my camera angle. Just hold on for a second. Let's see what this does.
Okay.
Oh, I don't like that at all. Shit. Get out
Wow.
of my nose. Get out of my nose, booger. Hey! All right, here we go.
Jeffrey's making me feel like I'm in the optometry office right now. You know how they flip the lens?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Do you like this one or do you like this one?
Here,
Oh.
number 1 or number 2?
Yes, that's it, Cole. That's it.
Don't you hate that too? And it's like, oh my God, which one's right and which one? Like, I don't want to get it wrong and her give me the wrong prescription.
Exactly. And then it's too strong and you're seeing, you know what I mean? Like you got Superman vision all of a sudden, but your eyes overall get weaker.
I start going cross-eyed when they do that. I don't know why. It happens every time. And then I start seeing 1 and 2 and they're the exact same. I'm like, I don't know. They're the same.
Am I supposed to be able to differentiate between the two? Which one's clear? 1, 2. 1, 2. I don't know, woman. And that's a big how about you to Andrea Lockhart Hardwick.
There you go.
Whom I've known for a long, long time. She is my eye doctor. And it makes it easier for me to go, what do you want me to say? Like, I don't know. Well, can you say 1 or 2?
I think probably if they're not changed a lot, that probably means your eyes aren't changing too much, which is probably good.
Yeah.
I even asked her, I was like, is this a true question? Because, they're both the same. Like, what's going on here?
Oh my gosh, Zach, are you kidding me? Dude. Zach says he hasn't been to the eye doctor since he was 6.
Zach. Jesus.
You got 20/20, I bet. I bet you got 20/20.
He is the young one of the bunch, though. This is,
I go like every 6 months.
I have to go once a year.
I'm with you, Jeffrey. I usually go once every 2 years.
I go right before bow season, so the fall or late summer, because I have to wear I hate wearing contacts. Loathe.
Yes.
Loathe is the better word.
This one right here is giving me issues tonight, so if y'all see me blinking a bunch, that's what that is.
But I have to wear them bow hunting and I have to wear them turkey hunting. So I have to, and getting them in and out, I'm just want to punch somebody. Can't stand it. Stand it.
Zach, I've had some nightmare eye doctor experiences. I got my eye cut by a fingernail one time. Went through my helmet in football. Had to deal with that for a while. Messed with my eye pressure and all that. It was.
Cole probably had to switch to this old Kurt Rambis rec specs, man. You know what I mean?
I put a visor on my helmet.
Did you?
This will help. And then it steamed up within like 5 minutes. I don't know how anybody wears a visor.
Like, dude, it's brutal.
Can't do that.
Hey, guess what? Tonight, fellas, got a little curveball with your meal planning. Got a little, you know how much we love HelloFresh here at the show. Big sponsor of the show. We are big fans of the HelloFresh. They actually own Green Chef. Green Chef is owned by HelloFresh, and it comes with a wider array of meal plans to choose from. There's something for everyone. I love switching between the brands. I really do. And now my listeners can enjoy both brands at a discount with me. If you're not familiar with Green Chef, it's the #1 meal kit for clean eating. Y'all like to eat clean? I like it dirty, but to be honest with you, some people like it clean. Green Chef delivers pre-portioned and prepped, just like HelloFresh, quality whole foods with limited processed ingredients. Green Chef sends organic, fresh produce, responsibly sourced proteins, and chef-designed recipes in every box for satisfying, nourishing, and convenient meals that make it easy to stick to a clean eating routine. This year, ditch the fads and create healthier eating habits that last with real clean food. Green Chef makes it easy with recipes curated from a variety of lifestyles and dietary needs. So, want to create better eating habits? Green Chef makes it easy with dietitian developed recipes, options for fresh, organic produce and quality whole foods delivering to your door each week. My goodness. And they've got a special promotion right now for all our people. Thrive all year with clean, easy meals from Green Chef. Green Chef. Go to greenchef.com/Auburn Live Free and use code Auburn Live Free, all lowercase, one word, all lowercase, and no spaces, to get started with free salads for 2 months plus 50% off your first box. That's greenchef.com/Auburn Live Free and use the promo code Auburn Live Free to get started with free salads for 2 months plus 50% off your first box. That's Green Chef, folks. Go check them out. They are the I don't want to say sibling. They're owned by HelloFresh. There you go.
All
right. Let's get to some recruiting.
Okay.
Hey, Dave, man, I felt like I had to. That was a very difficult intro for me. This entire. What we talking about 6 minutes, man? Oh my God, I feel like it's been 35 minutes.
Not only did you go to wherever you went, I can't remember now. You also did it during a time change, so we'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Jeffrey. For sure.
Yeah, I started freaking out about that time change now. All right, let's go. A Byers, WDE. A Byers. I used to know a girl named Erin Byers. I didn't know her well, but she was. I think she was younger than me. Anyways, what positions in the 2026 class are most crucial for us to hit on, both offense and defense? Take it away, fellas.
I mean, I think the two that jump out at you are the line of scrimmage, right, Cole? Offense and defensive line, and that's probably true most years. But to me, it's extremely important to make sure, specifically on the defensive line, that you are replenishing that group and making sure that you're continuing to bring in that talent, because to me, that's a separator in the SEC. Two that are sneaky that I think that Auburn needs to hit on are running back and tight end. I really believe those are two spots where they need to make sure there's an uptick in talent.
I was going to say running back, because you can always answer lines of scrimmage. I mean, yes, it is important as ever this cycle, but it's always that way, I feel like. Specifically this cycle, I'm with you, running back, man. It's nothing against Alvin Henderson, but don't you want an elite guy to pair with him in the future? Like, you really, I just feel like this is a class where you need to hit on that. And of course, my mind's on Jay Lamar. And I think Auburn's got a shot there. It's going to be tough to beat Georgia, but Auburn's in it. And if you get a guy like that, you have won that position in this class, in my opinion. And you really need just one. You can get two, but I think one would be okay.
Sounds good to me. I'm always thinking offensive line, defensive line. So
yeah, I mean that's almost like a prereq of everything.
Yeah, sure. I mean those are the separators in the conference, right? Those that have good lines of scrimmage, they dominate.
Yep.
Adam1 or Adam P1. Can we get an update on D-line recruiting? Speaking of the trenches, who are the four most likely to end up in the class?
Ooh, pre-spring visit. I'll give it a crack. I'm going to go with Vodney Cleveland, Bryce Perry Wright, Ernest Rankins, and Aiden Harris. Those are my four as of today. Now, this is pre-visit season, right? So there are a couple of guys that can probably jump into that mix. I think Crittenton's one of those that I'm paying attention to that I think has an opportunity to move up. Is it Stansel from North Carolina?
Yeah, Keyshawn
Stansel. He's one I'm paying attention to, but those are probably my four as of right now.
D-line, man, is a position where unless I've missed, I don't think there's ever a lot of late bloomers there. You kind of know who the guys are. I mean, you have to have this rare combination of the size and the speed and all that, and you know who those guys are by this point of the cycle. It's not like you can get this gem. It's harder to do on the defensive line, in my opinion. So I like. I mean, the guys you just named, that would be a great class.
Mm.
You know, and I think they're all legitimate. I think Auburn's got a legitimate shot with all 4 of those guys.
Yeah.
And then outside of those 4, I'm like, gosh, who else is there? You said Stancil, and there's a guy we're tracking a little bit, Damari Simeon, I believe. I'm tracking him some. I don't know. He's got a visit for before I think Auburn's got a shot there. Other than that, though, it's all edges, it seems like.
A lot of edges. I'm trying to think of the Crittenton kid's first name.
Tico
Monrico.
Yeah, he's one that I'm tracking that's a pure interior guy that I think, depending on what they see when he comes in for his OV or camp season, has an opportunity to move. There's a couple kids in Mississippi, right, that they're tracking on both those kids' edges.
Nolan Wilson is sort of a hybrid.
Yeah.
I think he falls maybe into your Keldrick Falk role. So a 5, but could also maybe play edge. I think he's been looked at either one there. So he's a guy. Man, Jarayla McCoy.
Yeah, that's the other one I'm thinking of.
Very similar role there. They offered Aiden Kane is somebody interesting. I would at least keep an eye on him. They offered him after his really, really strong Under Armour camp performance. I thought he was one of the best guys there.
Yeah.
He's a Duke commit from Gainesville, Georgia, I think. Somewhere in Georgia. But he's another one. Taj Overton from Oklahoma visited a long time ago. I'd like to see if he makes another visit. But it's weird. It's strange. Usually we have a lot of names, but we don't have a whole lot yet.
No.
I think we'll see some new guys emerge maybe in the spring. What do you think?
Agreed. I mean, I think eval season always, and it's not even really eval season. They know who these guys are. It's more or less they get an opportunity to go to practice, watch them line up, see them play basketball, what have you, kind of cross-check some of, their height, weight measurables. What kind of kid are they? They get a better feel for their grades at that point. Like, can they get them in? What kind of conversations, like what motivates the kid? Is it all NIL for them? Are they looking at other aspects of it? So it's kind of, we're in the middle of that period where they're kind of culling their board a little bit and vetting it and making sure that they know the prospects that they're ready to go in on as we get into official visit season.
Yeah. And by new targets emerge, I'm not contradicting myself by saying there's not a lot of guys that emerge. I'm trying to say maybe guys we're not talking about that they know more about than us.
Oh, for sure. There are definitely those guys.
Yep.
Good old Dennis Rodman wants to know, who is a must-get edge? Must-get. I hate that term. Must-get edge outside of, I wouldn't say Tank Jones must-get. But who's a must-get edge outside of Tank Jones?
I'm going to go with Jeffrey's fave here, Trenton Henderson. Big one for Rock Bellantoni. I think that's a guy that he's marked in this class. I would like to see Rock be able to capitalize on somebody that he pegged pretty early.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm looking at the edges on 3. Look, guess who they have now on 3 has now put in the edge group is Bryce Perry Wright.
I like that.
I didn't know they did that, but he is now considered an edge by on 3. I think Auburn maybe still thinks he's a future 3 or 5.
Yeah.
But they also, if you're talking about the way that on 3 has them ranked, they have Jaquez Wilkes in there, but Auburn is going for him as an inside backer from what I understand. But I would say Trent Henderson. I'm gonna tell you, I think he gets a little overshadowed because his brother's so good. Aiden Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Harris is a good edge. I think he's an excellent edge, actually. And I think Auburn thinks that too.
All right, let me ask y'all a question. Is it y'all's opinion that we're going to go for 2 edges in this class? Like, when I say edges, I mean buck linebacker, correct?
Yeah. I think if they can get 3, they'd take 3 of the guys that they have targeted. You know what I mean? Like as many as they can get.
And if that's the case, and Andrew Harris is one of those edges, and then you can get maybe a Trenton Henderson to be coupled with him, and or you retain, your big 4-star that you've got in this class right now, even though he's flirted pretty heavily with Florida. you're feeling really solid about what you've hauled in. And that's just with two guys that we're talking about here. And I agree with you on Andrew Harris. I think he's a better player than he gets credit for at this point within the industry rankings.
I think Auburn thinks exactly that way as well, from what I've heard.
Jaquez Wilkes. Toby Tiger. How many recruits might turn our way should we have a breakout season with 9 to 10 wins?
Ooh.
How many recruits? I don't know, about 7. I'd say 7.
Well,
I don't know.
by the time you're at 9 to 10 wins, that time of year is flip season. And the guys we're all naming now, I mean, could easily be committed elsewhere.
Sure.
By the time we get to that point. If they're big targets now, I promise you they'll be big targets around that time. So those are the ones I'd be looking at. I mean, I would put Anthony Tank Jones somewhere else, the field, versus Auburn right now.
Yes.
But if you get to that point, if you win 9 to 10 games, I think he's absolutely on the table for Auburn.
True.
So you'll have a lot of that going on, which is hard to predict now, but.
Yeah, I mean, 5. I'll be conservative. I'd go 5. Would probably and I'm with you, Cole, because even a guy like Sadarian Morgan, I don't have him trending Auburn right now. I think Auburn will be with it in it with him till the end. But if I were picking today, I'd have Sadarian Morgan going elsewhere. But if Auburn puts 9 to 10 wins on the board, Cam Coleman has a phenomenal year. Well, yeah, you're right in the thick of it. This is that kind of guy you're talking about in that group of 5 that could break your way if you show that kind of tangible progress on the field.
I mean, just look what they've done without winning,
Sure.
You give them that, and what else, what's missing after that? Hardly anything, right? They should be able to get anybody they want at that point. They've pretty much done that anyway.
Yeah, what's holding them back at that point, right?
Sure.
I would say at this point right now, they're working against the most that they've worked against since they've been there. And I'm counting when they first took over, because it was different then. They had to go get guys out of the portal. They had to build a roster first before they could start planning for the future. Now you're fighting against losing seasons. They're kind of in a weird place, which is why we're maybe a little more quiet than usual, because things are a little more quiet than usual right now. And it's just how it is. I think it's they're going to have to find a way to get an uptick before the season starts, because that's when all these commitments happen. But the season's going to be so important this year. I don't care who commits anywhere. They're all on the table to flip. That includes guys committed to Auburn right now.
True. Florida proved it this past year. I mean, they got real hot down the stretch. So,
yep.
Ready to talk some more football. This is so much easier to talk when there's football and it's not guessing. Or as you said, Alan, thinking.
Yeah. It's I think season right now.
Yeah.
Golly, that Toby, I would like to see that come to fruition, just to see how big of a difference it really makes. Because after reading that question and thinking about it, it's if Auburn goes 6-6, they don't get, let's say, 4 or 5 guys because they went 6-6. How many guys will they get if they go 9-3, 10-2 that they wouldn't have got if they go on 6-6, 7-5, or even 5-7? It would be, I would be very curious,
sure,
to see what this coaching staff could do with a 9 or 10 win football season.
Definitely.
Ranger 361. How do the top 10 2026 in-state players compare impact-wise to 2025?
Pretty good question.
It
I haven't really
is.
thought about it yet.
I haven't either. I think the top of the board might be better in this class. I think the overall top 10 was better in 2025.
I think so too. I mean, there are guys in this top 10 that I think are, Jeffrey Hates can't miss. I'm not going to say that, but legit. I mean, I think Anthony Tank Jones goes with anybody. he'd go against anybody.
Sure.
I think C.J. Morgan has the potential to go with anybody. I don't think he's a complete guy yet, but he's got the potential. Everybody's high on Xavier Crowell, man. They're really high on him.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm not. I think he's excellent, but I mean, boy, he's shot up in the rankings. Maybe they're right. I just think he's really good.
All right, let me read the top 10. I need to get to On 3 real quick. From 2025, and then I'll read top 10 for 2026.
All right.
And we'll let you guys.
I'll do 2026. I'll put them up here real quick.
I got
do
you.
2026 real quick.
All right, here we go. I got 2025. So number 1, Naheem Alford.
Yeah, he's good.
Number 2, Malik Autry. Number 3, Jared Smith. Number 4, Anquan Fegans.
Yeah.
Number 5, Eric Winters. Number 6, Zion Grady. Number 7, Anthony Rogers. Number 8, Derek Smith. Number 9, Jacaleb Falk. And last but not least, at number 10, Carday Smith.
Man, Jordan Crawford wasn't in the top 10. It's crazy.
That's pretty strong, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's incredibly strong.
So here you go. Tank Jones, C.D. Morgan, Crowell, Landon Duckworth at 4. Zion Gibson, Jaquez Wilkes, Hezekiah, Fatney, Shad, and Marquez Daniel. Listen, I don't know as much about these 10 as I do the 10 that you just read, Alan.
Sure.
So it's not really fair, but the 10 you just read off would be hard for me. That's tough to beat.
That's a pretty layered and deep top 10, isn't it?
When J.J. Falk is number 9.
Yeah, I know, man. I was looking at that. I was like, whoa.
And Jordan Crawford didn't make the top 10.
Yeah,
now, in my rankings, you would take not Anthony Tank Jones, excuse me, Turbo Rogers. You would take him out and you would put Jordan Crawford in your top 10.
Tell you what would be an interesting case study here is if you put these two top 10s together and we ranked them. I may do that on the board. It's a pretty good idea.
That's a great idea. I'd like to see it.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at the 26 right now. Like I said, Jones, Morgan, I think those two can go back head-to-head with the other class.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
I personally think that Zion Gibson is elite. I think he's elite.
I wouldn't argue you that.
I would have him higher.
Would you have Naeem ahead of him?
I think they're close.
Oh.
Really?
I'd probably give Naeem an edge, but I think Zion Gibson's the real deal.
Okay. I think Gibson's a better corner at this stage. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Naheem's a better athlete.
And then you get into what I would call, I think Jaquez Wilkes is just potential out the roof, okay, but not proven.
Is he in the mold of DeMarcus? Is he in the mold of DeMarcus Riddick?
Bigger.
He is bigger.
Jumbo athlete, like Jeffrey, he's a guy that plays running back and linebacker. Like when you watch him and you see the lateral movement skills, it's insane to watch a guy that's probably 230 plus move the way that he does. If we can pull up his huddle highlights, it's pretty unique to see a big guy go sideline to sideline like that. But I always love linebackers that also play running back. There's a lot of those skills, that skill set that translates from one side of the ball to the other. And they just typically are better athletes. And athletes that are capable of playing in space.
Did you say Eric Winters' name in the top 10?
Yeah,
I did. He was number 6.
Hey, let's watch 30 seconds of Jaquez Wilkes.
Yeah, he moves at a different speed on that level of football.
Watch him cut. Gone.
Yeah, the pull away speed.
He is built bigger than he reminds me of built wise. It's Casanova McKenzie.
He does, doesn't he? He does look like Cass.
Carlos Dansby or something like that.
Maybe we can get him some Chick-fil-A. What you think?
All right. He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Gosh. Okay. I'm trying to decide who he reminds me of. Hanley. Is this Hanley? That's who it is.
No, it's
right?
Wadley. Is
Wadley.
it short? Does he have short legs? Is that what Casanova has? You know what I mean? Like a short lower body?
Got that long. You got that long torso.
It's the
Yeah.
long torso.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
But you see what I mean, though? He's, you're not watching clips of him playing linebacker. So
Yeah.
it's potential. It was the same thing with DeMarcus Riddick. You're looking at him and going, my goodness, his ceiling is through the roof. And now you're seeing that on the field at Auburn. I think the same is true for Jaquez Wilkes. I keep going. I think the same is true for Hezekiah Harris. You're betting on potential with him.
Yeah, you are.
He's not all the way to where he's going to be yet. I thought, Naeem Alford still has to learn the corner position, but athletically, there's not anybody better in the country.
No.
You know what I mean? Like that's a can't miss athleticism you're getting there. How many of these guys are that is what I'm questioning a little bit, and why I would compare the two. Marquez Daniel, I think he's still got some time to grow.
He does, and you talk about a really good athlete right now. When you put on his tape, it's surprising at a guy his size that can kind of move the way that he can. It shocked me a little bit when I put it on the first time, and I was impressed. Now, it's a different level of competition. He's playing it over at Tuskegee for sure, and you have to account for that. But I can understand why there are certain schools in the SEC that are extremely high on that young man.
And I'll say it's kind of become this is just the norm now that Auburn's recruiting at a higher level. But you remember for a long time, especially in the Gus Malzahn years, and I'm not taking a shot at him or anything, the guys he had committed, sometimes there just wasn't a huge fight. There weren't schools all over the place trying to get them sometimes. It's like that's a 4-star, but the fight wasn't that hard. Like it was pretty easy, it seemed like. Well, schools are all over Hezekiah Harris and Shadarius Tootle. They're all over those two. I mean, Florida is on both of them. Tennessee, all these schools are going, those guys are top targets for us. I don't care where he's committed.
Sure.
That's good news. That's always good. It's what you want. You want to keep them, but you like that other schools like that are going, that guy, he's worth trying to flip.
We're damn Don. We got a great. I'm gonna set the over under. You guys take over or under.
Okay.
Don wants to know over under on how many offensive linemen we sign in this class. The over under is not the interesting part. The interesting part would be whether you take over or under. So I'm going to set it at 5.5.
Oh, you did it perfectly, dude. Because that's damn it, Jeffrey.
I would say 5 to 6. So
Yeah. I'm
going to take under though.
I am too. I'm going to take under because I think they're going to go into the portal some. I'm going to go with 5, and 5 is actually my number. I think they would take 6. I think they would honestly take 7 if they could get 7 quality. To be honest,
God, it's just so hard to sign that many.
It is, Jeffrey. It really is. But I think 2 interior guys, a swing guy, and 2 tackles is probably what you're looking at in this class.
I actually think there's about 6 or 7 guys I can name right now that I think Auburn's could get. They really want and can get. Gettable.
Right.
But I don't think they would take all 7. I think they're going to be a little bit selective because of what they just did in the portal.
Sure.
You got Mason Murphy, a guy that's been starting for USC for a long time, and you got Xavier Chaplin.
Yeah.
And they were available, and those are quality, got the experience. I think they're willing to bet more on that than let's take 7 guys and let's from high school and work with these guys for 2 years to get them out there. So I think they're going to leave a couple spaces for that, if that makes sense. I think 5. So I'll go right under yours.
I think we're all under and we're all picking 5.
But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 6 or 7, but I think it'll be 5. I think for that reason, they got to leave a little bit for the portal.
Yeah, you just can't sign 7 high school offensive linemen. You just can't. I mean,
no. I mean, how many are you dedicating to that position? I think our roster numbers are going to change here some if Auburn decides to push to the 105. As of now, they're only playing up to the 85, and I think that's an SEC mandate for this season. But that'll be some interesting roster management math going forward. But right now, I mean, I think you're dedicating 16 to 18 spots to offensive line. If you're taking 5 every year, and that's what this staff has pretty much done, 4 to 5 every year, I mean, hell, you're at 16 before you can sit down good. You know what I mean? After 4 years of recruiting. So that doesn't leave you a lot of wiggle for the transfer portal unless you're, trimming your roster somewhat.
Frank Goldberg wants to know, will this still be a top 5 class nationally? I've pulled up the On3 team rankings. Auburn currently sits at number 5. Let's see here. Number 3 in the SEC behind LSU and Texas A&M. USC moved above Oregon. I think Oregon lost a commitment on Monday, so USC moved to the top of the class. Auburn has 6 commitments, 5 4-stars, and is I don't see Alabama. Oh, there they are, way down there at 12. Hey, how about you down there, big dog?
Where was Georgia at?
Oh, man, they haven't started making their run yet.
18.
I don't even worry about where Kirby is during this time period, man. I know by it comes signing day, they'll be in the top 5 somewhere.
I really think, will this be a top 5 class? I think so, because I think Auburn will get. I think Auburn's going to win closer to 8 or 9 games than 5 or 6 games.
I agree. If that's the case, I think top 5 is obtainable. 100%.
Like 5, like number 5.
Yeah.
I'm leaning top 10 more than top 5 at this point.
Well, that's an easy.
I am. No, I mean, we said this last year in March. We said that.
Yeah.
Ain't no way. And then they start creeping towards. I mean, then you got Steve Wiltfong going. Auburn has a path to number 1.
Yeah.
And they weren't showing it on the field.
No,
it was looking bad.
Here's the thing,
right?
And I kid you not, if Auburn finds a way to 8 wins last year, I'd fully believe they finish 2-3 range. Like they were on verge last year. And so if they are 9-10 and you can hang around, that's the other part where I'm kind of doing the math here. I think I agree with what Cole said earlier. I think they've got some things to overcome from a negative recruiting standpoint. And I just don't know how close they're going to keep it with certain kids. So in my mind, I think top 10 is the safe bet right now.
Would you say top 8, top 7?
Probably. I'd probably go 8 right now. That would be, if I'm just blind guessing here, let me go 8. I think they can hang around with enough prospects as you get towards signing day and flip enough guys that you'll be number 8, number 7-ish. But being in that top 5, that's pretty elite, man. And I just don't know that they'll be able to get that done this season with kind of some of what they'll have to overcome in the early stages of recruiting.
Okay, my bad. See, I think Auburn was at number 6 on signing day of December, the 2025 class. They finished at number 8. They're at number 8 right now, so another top 10. So they were at number 8 for Hugh Freeze's second class. The 2024 class wasn't that another top 10 number? So 2 number 8s the past 2 years. I think it'll be improved from that. I think it'll be a better ranked class.
Okay.
Only because I think they're going to be closer to 8 to 9 wins more so than 5 to 6. Which is what they've been in the past. They've gotten the number 8 class the past 2 years by winning a total of 12 games. Right?
True story. Well, not even 11 games. 11.
So I think if they can go over on the win total of, let's just say 6.5.
Sure.
I can see 6-7 range, but man, I've got high hopes for this team in this class. I really do. PH Perry, 87. With spring practice about to start, how important is it for the offense to look better in spring for recruits in the next cycle? Don't you want some positive buzz coming out of the spring about the offense and the quarterbacks and the receivers and the offensive line?
For sure.
I guess the great thing about spring is that you can make it look awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, how many guys did we hear last year going, dude, Cam Coleman, oh my gosh. And he was a freshman and he hadn't even proven anything yet.
Yeah.
Other than he's a Thorne, man. Which, I mean, they ended up being right. Cam Coleman was good. Malcolm Simmons.
Yeah, it was the Peyton Thorne buzz that got me.
Every time, man.
Well, it didn't get me, but I was like, really?
Yep.
Okay, maybe he's been here a year now.
Yep. Instead, it was brewski time, and I shouldn't have had that popcorn. But
But no,
okay.
you can. I'm not saying it's like pulling the wool over your eyes or anything, but there's a lot more hope in the spring. So you can sell that so much easier than you can when it's actually on the field. You know what I mean?
Let's see. Absolute underscore value. What position do you feel least confident of Auburn signing enough quality recruits for the upcoming recruiting? What position you worried about right now? I mean, it's freaking March. Let's take that into consideration. Okay.
Yeah, right.
running back, that's the one I'm most concerned about because I think Auburn's top 3 targets are all trending elsewhere at the moment.
Yeah, running back, D-line. It's D-line, just because I don't know a whole lot of guys outside the 4 you named earlier, Alan. That has me a little bit worried.
Sure.
I mean, there's a chance they land all 4, but that's not the easiest thing in the world. So
I think the stargazer would look at the offensive lineman, even if you look at those 6 or 7 Cole was talking about that's leaning towards Auburn, none of them really jump out at you.
Which I can give you names if you want names.
I mean, are there any 4 stars in the group?
No, I'm the guys I'm thinking of that Auburn's got a really good shot at. If Auburn decided today, like, we want you in the class and we're going to start pushing on you, I think Auburn can land Dalton Toothman.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic. Who's a non-ranked 3-star?
Unranked right now.
Yeah.
3-star Dominic Harris.
Yeah.
Wilson Zierer.
Unranked Wilson Zierer. 3-star Parker Pritchett.
Yeah.
Don't know enough about Gavin Meyer yet. Musa Sek, probably.
I got one for you. And I think if Auburn pushes for him, and they are, I think they can get that one. He's a 4-star, Deron Parks. That's probably the one to me that jumps out that's a blue chip.
They are going to get Darius Gray on campus, but I don't know. That's going to be tough. JB Shabazz is a 4-star. They're going to get on campus.
Yep.
But he wouldn't be included in my. I think Auburn can land them right now. So the ones that I think they can land, I would put Parks in there. So that's the 1 4-star as of right now. Now, you look at Wilson Zierer, he could easily jump to 4-star status with all the offers he's got. We'll see. If you're worried about that kind of thing, I don't think Auburn's too worried about it this cycle. It doesn't seem like.
No, I think they're filling needs, and they're taking prospects they think have the kind of upside that fit within their system. And I do believe with offensive line, it is extremely difficult evaluation. And you see high end blue chip offensive linemen bust every year. What was that kid from Carver over in Columbus, Pritchett? I mean, he just has not been. Elijah has not been what Alabama thought he would be to this point.
5-star, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was big time.
Alabama 5-stars are typically other team 4-stars. So
there you go.
I said it. What? I said it.
Do you think? Do y'all think that maybe it's possible Auburn's looking at the guys that are behind, your starters right now, which are the vets? They've been there for a while.
Sure.
Which, by the way, you love having veterans. It's always a big talking point in the spring. You're going to hear it. Multiple whatever is going to write about that being a big deal. But you also have to remember the other side of that. They didn't make it to the NFL yet. You question that a little bit.
Sure.
It is what it is. It's just fair. You look at it both sides. It's good to have veterans, but also, why didn't you make it to the NFL yet? But anyway, the guys behind them, the DeAndre Carters, the Faber Edwins. You think Auburn's looking at this group and maybe, Brody Scholl, Jacoby Ward, Kel Ellis,
TJ
going, Buster.
TJ who?
Johnson.
Oh yeah,
TJ Johnson. You're looking at these guys and going, okay, we got a nice little foundation here. I think a few of these guys are going to be in there. Braden Joyner, maybe we don't have to break the bank on a Darius Gray. or Emmanuel Iheanacho for this and wait for the portal and get another chaplain.
I like it, Cole.
I mean, do you think that's the strat? To me, it feels like that could be the strategy they're going.
I like it.
It does to me too. It feels like find 5 guys that fit your system,
that want to be here,
that you believe have potential.
Exactly, right. That you can develop in 2 years' time. They can be in your 2 deep, right? Like that's kind of the projection on this deal. And then I take 2 instant impact guys from the transfer portal this coming cycle. Like I'm with you because I think that's probably what you need to do anyway, especially if you're going to return Jackson Arnold as your quarterback. You do not want young but talented offensive lineman out there protecting this blind side. You need some experience out there.
Right.
Wiggle, war dang eagle. Give me your top 3 must-haves.
Oh, at cornerback.
Cornerback, must have them.
All right.
The program will go under.
I got it. Give me Jordan Thomas from New Jersey.
That's a good one.
Caden Harris out of Tennessee and Zion Gibson out of the state of Alabama.
I like it.
Let me pull up some cats.
If I would,
we saw Broadnax commit to Louisville last week. I think.
Yep, and we thought he was the other team in the mix.
I would trade out Caden Harris for Preston Allen.
He was going to be my alternate. I like Caden's size better, and Preston more in the nickel. But I hear you, Cole.
I'll tell you, Brody Jennings is interesting. The Michigan commit.
Oh,
okay.
On 3 has got to be better with their database, man. I mean, you have to scroll through all the positions to find out cornerback. There you go. That's how long it took me. Let's see here who y'all have got. Zion Gibson, I heard mentioned. Caden Harris, I heard mentioned. Jordan Thomas is a phenomenal one. I would put him in mine. Let's see who else.
Corey Adams is another one.
Yeah, but he's definitely a big time player. I think he canceled his Auburn OV. At least I think that's what I saw.
Yeah. Oh, Broadnax safety.
I think West likes him at corner.
He's listed as a safety on 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody. Let me look at the athlete. Nobody really jumped out at me besides Jordan Thomas.
Zion Gibson is to me.
Zion Gibson, right? You say Preston Ashley. He's listed as an athlete.
Yes,
yeah, I really like him too.
Who's the kid out of Texas? The 3-star, but he's more of a nickel, right?
Oh yeah, Braylon Edwards.
Yes. Yeah. He was on my tip of my tongue when I scrolled through there.
You had Jalen Waters did schedule an OV. Probably need to check in when he committed to Miami, so I don't know about that one yet.
Hold on, and there's one other kid.
Cavante Anderson,
but Cole, there's a kid you mentioned. Give me just a minute.
While you're looking for that, I will tell you, Zion Gibson to me, I think that's going to be the classic Iron Bowl battle with Tennessee also in the mix. But I think it's going to be a classic because I think Auburn really values him.
Now, I don't think this kid's can't miss, but I think his star's on the rise. Dylan Puter. I think he's one to pay attention to for sure.
He's from Booker T, is he not?
He is. He is.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really good athlete.
Mark
that one down.
He had a big Under Armour camp. Very good showing there and skyrocketed a little bit up the rankings. And I got a lot of offers. I think Auburn's definitely in communication. I don't know if have they offered him?
No, but he's one of those I've got circled for camp season.
Yeah.
Where I think he has an opportunity to come into an Auburn camp and for them to say, you know what, saw enough. Go ahead. Let's turn up the heat there. He's got that kind of skill set. So I'll be interested to watch that one.
The summer camp offer is a little more rare these days. I mean, like Nehemiah Pritchett, that was the way he got to Auburn. J.C. Hart was another one. It's a little more rare because at that point, it's like, all right, we're pretty far into this. Guys are committing.
It's too late. Yeah.
Well, we say that, but then the kid from Maryland last year, Bryce Diaz, who ended up being one of the best athletes in the class,
Malcolm Simmons.
Simmons.
You know what? Were we talking about Blake Woodby at this time a year ago?
No, he was committed to Ohio State at this time a year ago.
You just don't know, man. It moves so
don't.
fast.
You don't.
Tomorrow, no, they really turned it up with him after the camps.
They did. So to me, what it means is when they get an offer in camp, it's a legitimate offer. It's not they've thinned through the herd and they were waiting. Because remember, Sam Turner was going to be a camp offer, and then they couldn't get him into camp, and then they pulled the trigger anyway. So there's a handful of guys that kind of fall in that category, right? Like they're on verge of a blue chip. Auburn just wants to see a little bit more, and then they get them in camp, and either they like what they see or they don't, because they have also brought in guys. I've seen them camp there, and Auburn just, saw enough.
How about, I'll never forget this interview. Had a great camp, I thought. Videoed him the whole time. We heard, watch out, he might get the offer. And then we interview him after. He goes, I didn't get it. I got to do better. Or something. I can't remember exactly how I said it. Do you remember this, Jeffrey? Malcolm Simmons.
Okay.
They offered Bryce Kane that day instead.
They offered Bryce Kane that day, and we thought, well, they offered him. They didn't offer Malcolm Simmons.
Yeah, one of the two. I thought it was going to be one of the two.
And he left very disappointed. I mean, you could see it on his face. Like, I thought I was going to get that offer today. He didn't get it.
Bryce
he said, I'll work harder. That was the line.
Bryce did look good that day. I mean,
good. He was different that day. He was quick.
Yeah.
He was very good. He got open. He separation. Yeah.
Malcolm was not as clean on his routes at that time. But when I saw him go up for the ball one time and over the middle and just float, I was like, y'all need to offer that guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's just one of those raw athletes. You know what I mean? You take him and figure out where he fits later. You don't worry so much. But anyway.
I feel like there was another one there that day. There was like 3 wide receivers, but I know there was the 2. I don't know. That was a fun camp, though.
I know Walker White was there throwing to him. I remember that.
Was Perry also there? Was that who it was?
Nah, he wasn't. I don't think.
Might have been Dylan Gentry. Oh!
Hey, I saw my man.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said Q-Dog now, right?
Is that? Am I doing it right?
I think so.
Okay. I don't know. Don't ask me.
Yes.
Dylan, the goat of all goats. Dude, I'm going to get him on the show one week.
You need to, brother. You need to. I think he would be a worthwhile interview for sure.
I mean, I love some Dylan Gentry. I knew Dylan when he was just Dylan.
Okay.
I knew Dylan when he was just the dude with Cam. Who's this guy? He was with Cam on every visit.
Right.
Like there was, I've said this before, but after Cam decommitted from A&M, he visited Auburn like 10 times. Well, every time he was there, I was there. And so I knew about all these other visits that nobody really knew about, but
sure.
Dylan was always with him. I didn't know who he was. And I remember, taking, I'm gonna get quotes from him, and I built him a profile, and so anyways, Dylan, he owes me an interview. Dylan Gentry, going for you, big dog.
There you go.
All right, how about you this week?
Yeah, I got 5.
Oh, start us off, Cole.
I missed the last show, the last recruiting show, so they've kind of piled up on me.
You didn't miss much. You missed like 18 minutes. Then my power.
My man, Lieutenant Aldo Rain.
Yeah, it's a good one. I like it.
LT?
Yes.
LT decimal space Aldo space.
Decimal? What the hell's a decimal?
Point. I was going to say point.
A period?
Dot.
A dot?
Decimal. Lieutenant, abbreviated.
Yeah.
Rain has an E on the end, too.
Okay. I think I can find it with LT.
You probably got
decimal point.
Don't forget the decimal. But yeah, Lieutenant Aldo Rain, man, he had a great in support. I'll just call him support. How about that?
Okay.
AU fan I am. 1.
Oh, you gotta spell that for me.
like I said, AU fan I am. All one word.
AU Fanium.
Fanium. Maybe it's that.
No, you're right.
Kyle Hatcher.
Okay.
That's just his name.
That's a good one. He's underrated.
He is, and he had he helped me out with the green egg purchase. So a lot of these are for that. The next two are for that as well. AU Tiger 7, all one, and then North GA Tiger. How about you, those guys?
Not bad, you fellas.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Head.
All right, so I've got a couple. BBP is one.
Yeah,
and then Jeffrey Lee's head buffing towel.
Oh.
he's been pretty active.
He has. He's been pretty active, and I like the handle.
I think I've met him in person, Alan. Actually,
Have you?
It was one of those things where I met him, and he goes, "Hey, man, I'm on the corner. I love what y'all do." And I said, "Okay, what's your username?" He goes,
Yeah.
Isn't that your fave when you ask them and then they don't even want to tell you? They just want to look away.
He said, "I'm actually Jeffrey Lee's head buffing towel." Like, okay, I like it.
Ain't no shame in that game, big dog.
No, man, no.
Cole, I've got one. I've got Tank Biggs, all caps, one word. Tank Biggs, who's a long timer. I can't remember what it was, but he was fantastic. But there's a couple of like posters, and they're big basketball guys, and
we have some.
I almost feel like Cole and I owe them on these two. I'm thinking of specifically an apology for making them look so bad. But you know what?
I knew where this was going, dude. I knew where this was going.
Hey, Cole and I admittedly aren't big basketball experts, but these two make us feel that way. I mean, my goodness. They think they know so much. And it turns out Cole and I know a little bit more than they do. So I'll save that for a rainy day.
I've been called an idiot. I've been called a simpleton. I've been called everything this past week. It's been an interesting experience. It has. Just because I like football, man. What's wrong with that?
All right, hold on. I missed one that I got to get in there because I laughed at this. Jackson Barnold for his comment when he was trying to get – he said, could we possibly get Jeffrey Lee to pronounce that last name for us on the next podcast? And Jackson Barnold goes, right or wrong, he'll say, that's what I said.
Was it the linebacker, Bam Alabuchu or something?
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
Balagon Ali, I think is how you say it or something.
That's what I said.
Jeffrey, I'm not going to lie. I have started doing that almost out of reaction.
Yeah, like, instinct, baby.
It's the greatest comeback. Like, what do you say to that? Nothing.
You just laugh like I do every time, bro.
You're right. You said that. You probably
did. Yeah, exactly what I said. You didn't hear me? All right, let's wrap it up there. Let's don't forget about Green Chef. Thrive all year with clean, easy meals from Green Chef. Go to greenchef.com/AuburnLiveFree and use the code AuburnLiveFree, all one word, all lowercase, to get started with free salads, folks, for 2 months. Free salads plus 50% off your first box. You know what that means? You'll only pay half price. That's what 50% off means. I only pay half of it. So if it's $10, you'll only pay $5. If it's 6.5, you'll pay 3.25. I didn't do it. I didn't use a calculator. I got that one all by myself. greenchef.com/AuburnLiveFree, folks. All right, that's going to do it for us. We will be back Sunday night with the call-in show. Man, we've had some fantastic callers on. If you've been missing these shows, be sure to check in. Tune in Sunday night on the Auburn Live on 3 YouTube page. Don't forget, we've got a promotion going on right now. $1 for the first week. Or if you want to go ahead and knock out that yearly subscription, use the promo code FRIEND, FRIEND, and it will give you 50% off an annual subscription. Go ahead and lock in because it's going to be a fun year. We're going to get spring practice started here the next couple of weeks. Visits will resume. We're going to have some more coaches interviews. We're going to have Dylan Gentry on here by George at some point. Dylan Gentry will be on here. All right, folks, that's going to do it, man. We appreciate everybody listening. We appreciate everybody watching. For Cole Pinkston, for Alan Head, for Zach in the back, who stayed in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay that left lane. See you.